Hello, everybody. Welcome to a slightly late version of the Visto Show. It's an exciting one today. I am very sorry for those of you on LinkedIn. And as some of you know, I'm a punctual guy. And I let you down, you LinkedIn folks down. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you have no idea what's going on, so I'll explain it quickly and move on. But the long story short is, I usually start right at 12 p.m. Eastern, and as you can tell from my attire, or may be able to tell from my attire, I did have to attend court this morning and it ran late, and so I am about 8 minutes late, so I'm very, very sorry to those of you tuning in live on LinkedIn. Hopefully I didn't leave you hanging for too long. Feel free to, as always, drop your comments in the chat. Let me know how things are going. If you're watching this on YouTube, well, you don't have that problem. But if you ever want to tune in live, take part in the conversation, then definitely make sure you're following me on LinkedIn as well. Now, I'm going to jump right in. We have two major topics. Number one, as usual, I do want to talk immigration really quick. If you're here for the AI stuff, I'm going to make the immigration part very quick today. I'm going to talk for 2-3 minutes because there's been a bunch of express entry draws in May, and I really quickly want to talk about those. And then we're going to jump into the main event, which is we're going to be building some custom AI live on air. And what I want to do today is I've been posting a LinkedIn newsletter for a long time now. I can't remember how long. I've got a little over 6,000 subscribers, and I've kind of fallen behind on posting it because I've been really busy. And I want to take this opportunity to use some custom AI that I'm going to build live on air to show you and to hopefully automate that newsletter for myself and show you how easy it can be to use some AI, even if you're like me and you don't know how to code or anything like that. So, without further ado, let us jump right in. First topic, again, really quickly, we're going to talk about today is express entry. So I'll share my screen here. Brendan says, completely understand. Thanks, Brendan. Appreciate it. Hope your week is going well. Again, if you're Brendan and probably don't give two craps about Canadian immigration, I'm just going to talk about this for 2 minutes. If you want, heck, you can even mute me for 2 minutes and come back for the AI stuff. Or hey, you can just leave me on and I'll make this quick and you might learn a thing or two. But anyways, really quickly, I wanted to review the May express entry draws. So what you can see here, and the way this works in Canada, is we have a program called Express Entry. It's a points-based system for permanent residents. And usually every 2 weeks, the government does a draw and they invite certain people to apply, depending on their score and occupation and stuff like that. So what we can see here is early in May, May the 1st and May the 2nd, we had the first ever education draw, and we had the first of 2025 healthcare draw. So what does this mean? Sometimes they do more general draws. Sometimes they invite certain people from certain occupations. And as we know recently, they changed some of these occupations. So they added in this education occupations group. And I believe this is the first ever. Yeah, it's the first ever education occupations draw. So they invited 1,000 people with a minimum score requirement of 479 on May the 1st. The next day, they did a healthcare draw, healthcare and social services occupations. I think it was the first one of 2025. Yeah, so you can see they did one in November of 2024, but they did the first healthcare draw of 2025. And then on May the 12th and the 13th, they kind of went back to their standard PNP, although they did the first Canadian experience class draw since February, early February. So at the beginning of the year, CEC was very popular, and only now is it coming back because the government had kind of slowed down and done a bunch of PNPs. So I thought this was somewhat interesting how, number one, they seemed to dip into a few more of the different occupation-specific draws and mixing back in CEC again. So who's to say? I think things are a little bit slower. Like you can see here, they were all small draws. Only 1,000 people, 500 people, 511 people, 500 people. Maybe because of the election, maybe because of a new minister. They're still kind of getting their feet wet. Who knows? But certainly an interesting situation nonetheless. So anyways, if you're interested in Express Entry, I did post a link to this exact page in the chat on LinkedIn. You'll find it in the description below. if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube. Now let's jump in. I'm just going to dive right into the fun part here. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let me share my screen again. And I'm going to quite literally, like I don't even have these tabs open yet. I'm going to show you how we can start using AI to automate stuff, right? So if you go onto my LinkedIn page, and if you're not already following, then heck, what the heck, you know, what are you doing? And if you scroll down under featured, you'll see Josh's bi-weekly newsletter. And I'm going to click on this here. We've got over 6,000 subscribers, which is really cool. I've posted over 46 editions. But as you can see, my last one was 3 weeks ago. So I'm slacking. I need to catch up. Now, if you go read a couple of them, what you're going to see is typically what I do is I kind of amalgamate some of my best posts from the previous week or two into like a summary email highlighting and linking to some of my best content. So what I want to try to do here is actually automate drafting this newsletter so I don't have to anymore, or I don't have to do the first draft using AI. So here's how I'm going to do it. All right, I'm going to use, now I'm going to show you what I'm going to use, but you don't necessarily have to use it. I've been using Google Gemini, and one of the reasons why I'm using Google Gemini, I'm going to pull it up right here. One of the reasons why I've been using it is because I am a G Suite user. I use Google Workforce, right? I'm not a Microsoft guy. I'm not telling you to go one way or another. I'm just saying, hey, I happen to be a Google user, so I've been using Gemini, right? Because it comes with my stuff, it connects with all my stuff, blah, blah, blah. You can do exactly what I'm about to show you with a custom GPT. You can do exactly what I'm about to show you with, you know, whatever the equivalent is for Claude or, you know, whatever else. So what's less important today is the tools I'm using. You can pick whatever LLM, whatever tools you want. What's more important is the step-by-step process and kind of like prompting of how I'm doing it, right? So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to think this through step by step, right? So I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to say, okay, when I go to generate these newsletters, what do I do? Usually what I do first is I review the last week or two of my LinkedIn posts and the last week or two of my Substack posts. And I kind of pick the like 5, 6, 7 that I think are best. And then I go point by point, I create some headers, and I create bullet points for each one. And this is kind of a pain in the ass. So now how would I do this using AI? Well, what I'm going to do first and foremost is I think the most effective way to use AI is to give it as specific instructions as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a gem, right? So again, a gem is Google's version of a custom GPT. A gem or a custom GPT is basically, instead of opening up Gemini or opening up ChatGPT and just talking to it like normal, is I'm going to pre-build instructions into it, right? So I'm going to click on New Gem, and I'm going to call it the LinkedIn Newsletter Generator, right? Now you can see here, I am quite literally walking you through step by step. I haven't built this before. I'm not prepared at all. I'm running late to this video. So I'm going to walk you through everything from the very beginning, right? Now, let's start with, so first, what you want to do, the two most important things here are the instructions. So what instructions do I want to give this gem specifically? And then number two, what they call knowledge. This is basically just files, right? Add files to your gem for reference. So what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to give it basic instructions. And then for the files, I'm going to give it samples of old versions of my newsletter. Because one thing that I've found that works really well, like one thing people struggle with is writing good content with AI because it doesn't sound good. The best way to overcome that is to give it samples of your own work, right? So I'm going to say, you are helping me draft my weekly newsletter. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to even pull up my description of the newsletter, of my weekly newsletter, where every second week I share an update from my business journey, updates, blah, 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 and more. I'm going to say this newsletter is an amalgamation of my best LinkedIn and Substack posts from the prior week. Please take the posts that I provide to you in the chat and create a draft newsletter using the sample newsletters I've provided as files in the knowledge section. And don't worry, I'm going to walk you through this here. Okay, so number one, I'm telling it what it is. You are helping me draft. Now, I'm not saying these prompts are like the perfect, because as you can see, I have done zero preparation. I'm writing it with you right here, right? So these will be pretty good, but they might not be perfect, but that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to build it, and then I'm going to test it. And then if the output's not good, I'm going to come in and I'm going to edit the prompt to make it better or make it more specific, right? So that's the other thing I think that people get wrong, is they open up AI and they put in a prompt and it's not great, and then they go, okay, this doesn't work, see you later, right? What I've learned, especially in the last year, is it's about constant improvement and iteration, right? So you try it with something like this, you try to make your first prompt as good, as strong as possible, and then you try it out, and based on the feedback, you can improve it, right? You are helping me draft my weekly newsletter, where every second week I share an update from my business journey, updates, ideas, tips, book reviews, and more. This newsletter is an amalgamation of my best LinkedIn and Substack posts from the prior week. Please take the posts and links that I provide to you in the chat and create a draft newsletter using the sample newsletters I've provided as files in the knowledge section. Please use similar language and formatting as in the knowledge section. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let's give it some knowledge, right? Let me click save here, just so that it's, oh, I think it saves my progress. Okay, so here, let's take my these are my last two newsletters, right? Oh, and the other thing I wanted to do is also, based on the content of the specific newsletter you draft, please suggest 2 to 3 headlines, 2 to 3 titles for that specific newsletter. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go into Google and I'm going to make a new document. I'm going to create a new document that's going to have my knowledge stuff, right? So for example, I'm going to open up, in my case, a new Google Doc. Again, if you prefer Microsoft and you want to use Word, by all means, use Microsoft and use Word, right? So here we are. And now I'm going to say, newsletter number 1. And I'm going to say title. I want to make it clear to the AI what is what, right? So here's my title. And here's the body. I'm just going to copy and paste it in. And maybe I'll fix the, just because I prefer to have uniform formatting. Let's go Times New, and let's do 12, can't go wrong. Why is that? Okay, I don't love this. This is me being nitpicky. I don't love the spacing. Let's just do single. And that I don't care about. Okay. Okay, so you can see, here we go. So this is my first newsletter, and now I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to say, you know what, let's make it more clear. Sample newsletter number 1, and I'm going to update the text here. Okay, yeah, I mentioned sample. And then on down here, I'm going to put sample newsletter number 2, and I'm just going to pull a second one, right? And the reason why I'm doing this is the more content you give the AI to work with, I find, the better it is, right? So title, and then I'm just going to go text. So title, text. Again, I want to keep things as uniform as possible here. And let's come down here. And let's grab this text. So now I'm giving it a couple ways. And we're going to go times new. We're going to go 12. Okay. So now what we have here, and you can see this took me, what, a minute? I'm going to make this, let's just say heading 1. Heading 1. Some of these things you don't necessarily have to do, right? But I'm just trying to be a little bit specific here, right? So here we go. I've created a document with 2 of my previous sample newsletters. I'm just going to call this file sample newsletters. All right. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to download it. So let's download it as a PDF. And we'll give it a quick look. See, okay, looks good, looks good. Okay. Great. Now I'm going to go back into my gem and I'm going to upload it. So upload, download, sample newsletters, right? So there we go. So what time is it? It's 12:26. So this probably took me, what, 10 minutes? I mean, you guys can let me know if you've been counting. Starting from nothing, I have a couple paragraphs of instructions and I have some sample newsletters and I'm going to click update. All right. So I have my gem. I'm going to start new chat. Now let's test it. Let's see if it's any good. Okay. You can see here, LinkedIn newsletter generator. That's kind of cool. So now what do? Normally what I do is I go through my recent LinkedIn posts and my recent Substack posts, and I pick like 4 or 5 of the best ones, and I talk about why, and I link to each one, right? So let's go through my recent history really quick. Again, I'm going to do this fast, right? I'm not going to do it as like in-depth as I normally would. Chanel says, do you use a paid Gemini subscription? I do, Chanel, because I'm a Google Workspace user. So I use the G Suite, the Google Suite, for Visto, right? So at Visto, we use Gmail and, Google Docs and all that stuff. And then for my law firm, I also use G Suite. So I do have the paid version that comes with that. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure if you can create custom gems on the free plan. So keep that in mind. You might have to be paying for this, similar to ChatGPT, right? You can use ChatGPT for free, but you can't build custom GPTs for free, right? But if you're using this for business like I am, and you're seeing how powerful this is, most of these plans are what, 15, 20, 25 bucks a month. The amount of time that they can save you, like you can see, I have some other gems as well. I have a business coach. It has all the information about my business. If I ever want to ask questions about strategy, blah, 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 right? Like I'm creating all these different gems that are helping me save so much time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through and I'm going to grab some of my posts, right? Some of my favorite posts. This is what I do. I save them like this. Let me pull up a couple more. This is a recent post about AI that did really well, so I'm going to include this. This was a cool post because we're almost launching our Immigration Canada online form filling tool. Express entry, let's mix that in. Okay, so that's 4. And now let's get maybe like 2 or 3 of my Substack posts, right? So obviously you should be following me on LinkedIn. You should also definitely be following me on my Substack. I'll put the link to that in the description. I talk more about like business in general and, being a Canadian co-founder, building tech, working as a lawyer, that kind of stuff. So let's take a look at I'm just going to really quickly pick 2 of my favorite posts. This one was pretty good on masterminds, preparing for trial. I'll talk about that as well. Let's just go with those. All right. So again, I want to keep this simple. So these are 6 different posts that I have, right? So now I'm going to go back into my gem and I'm going to say, please draft a newsletter with the following items. So we'll put this post talking about a recession. So I'll just say this LinkedIn post talking about an incoming recession in Canada. Now again, I've never tried this, so I don't even know what the results are going to be. Now what you could do further is I could even throw this text into AI and ask it to like summarize it better. This post on how AI is good. What did I talk about? On how AI agents are good from a recent podcast episode. This post talking about our new feature that automates filling in IRCC online forms for PR applications. This post talking about recent express entry draws. And now I'm getting really curious to see how the heck this is going to... I'll say this Substack post about the Bell internet outage and how it led to productivity. And then the last one, don't worry, we're getting to the last one here. Last one is about this Substack post about my experience preparing for trial as a family lawyer. Okay, so here's the different, what I used to do is have to pull up each one of these and kind of write it myself. I'm just going to hit enter. I'm not going to give it any more instructions. Let's see what the heck happens. I'm genuinely curious because I haven't even tested this, right? You watched me build this gem. Okay, I can help you draft your weekly newsletter. Here's a draft of your newsletter. Lots happening as always, from discussions on the Canadian economy to new developments in AI, plus some personal reflections. Here are some of my best posts from the week that was. I kind of like that. Canadian economy. There's some talk about an incoming recession in Canada. I shared some not so great news as we head into the second half of the year. You can read more about it here. Okay. And then it gets the hyperlink. That's pretty cool. Like already, assuming this is okay and I only have to make some small tweaks, it probably just saved me about 20 minutes. On the immigration front, there was finally a Canadian experience class draw after a long pause. I posted the details here. I like that. We're excited about a new feature at Visto that automates filling in IRCC online forms for PR applications. I shared how incredibly easy it was to use here. I didn't give it that context. So this is really cool. I wonder if it's actually looking at the context in the links, because I didn't give it this context. I don't think. Let's look at my instructions. Where was that? Our new feature that automates. Yeah, I didn't tell it. I didn't give it that little piece of information. AI insights. AI continues to be a hot topic. In a recent podcast episode, we discussed how AI agents, while still tools, can be incredibly powerful. Check out the discussion here. I'm really liking this so far. A recent Bell internet productivity and reflections. A recent Bell internet outage surprisingly led to one of my most productive days. I wrote about what happened and the unexpected benefits on my Substack here. So it gives a little Substack mention there. Okay, it's gotten all the links correct. Again, what a lot of people do wrong is they just spew stuff into AI and then don't review it and then post it, right? So I'm always reviewing, touching up. I also shared some reflections on my past life as a family lawyer and the intense experience of preparing for trial. You could read that piece on Substack here. So like, here's a good example. This isn't in my past life. This is in my current life, right? Because I'm currently preparing for trial. So this is a mistake. I don't know why it assumed that. I don't know if it's because it actually clicked into the link and read it, or it just made an assumption. But this is a great example of how, and so far I've loved everything, you still always want to review every piece of output, right? Don't expect AI to be perfect. It's the people who think it's a total replacement and that it needs to be perfect who are, I think, misunderstanding it and not leveraging it. Hope you find some or all of these interesting, and if you have any thoughts, feedback, or ideas for new topics, let me know. And if you want my best stuff right to your inbox so you never miss one, make sure you're on my Substack here. So it even got like a common CTA that I like to use as well. Have a great week, Josh Schachnow, and then it got my sign off. Oh, and here's a few title suggestions. Recession Talk, AI Tools and Unexpected Productivity. I like that. Navigating Economic Shifts, AI Advancements and Immigration Updates. From Courtroom Prep to AI Agents, a Week of Insights. I like the first one. I don't know about you folks. Let me know if you're watching live on LinkedIn, and this is a bonus of why you should all be watching live on LinkedIn. Obviously, if you can't catch me live every second Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, I won't hold it against you too much, as long as you watch the recording on YouTube. But if you want to take part in the conversation live, then make sure it's on LinkedIn. Anyways, what do you folks think of these three titles? I like number one, and one of the reasons is, as you'll see, usually what I do for this newsletter is I list three things, right? AI, tinkering, immigration, and eating well. Blah, 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 and blue, blue, blue. Blah, 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 blee, 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 and blah, 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 right? And that's why I included specifically the titles in my sample document, right? Because I was hoping it would pick up on that, and it seemingly did, right? The first two are 1, 2, and 3, right? 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. The third one, it looks like they went a little different. Maybe they wanted to throw in a different option for me. Now, the other cool thing I want to point out here is you can see these little links. I don't know if you can tell from my screen. If you hover over these links, it shows you where it's getting this information from. So you can see sample newsletter page 1, sample newsletter page 2, right? Now, this isn't so useful for a situation like this, because like it's a page and a half. But if you upload 50 pages or even 20 pages worth of sample newsletters, that can be really helpful because you can see which piece or which page or where it's pulling that information from. So I actually really like this. I like this so much, and just to kind of like be an exciting part of this activity is I'm just going to use it, right? So I'm going to click create new, right? We're going to do this live. This is all live on air, right? And LinkedIn newsletter banner, right? So here's my banner. Click next. By the way, if you're not doing a LinkedIn newsletter, I think you are missing out, because like, look at this. I don't even promote the newsletter much. I just write it every 2 weeks and post about it every 2 weeks. And the reason why I think this is off topic, but if you're watching this, you're probably interested in marketing and growth and stuff. LinkedIn really pushes their newsletter feature. So when I post this every 2 weeks, it sends notifications to these subscribers. Sometimes it'll even send notifications to my followers who aren't subscribers yet. So I haven't even had to do too much work to get over 6,000 subscribers, right? Who are all going to get notified once this goes live. Anyway, so that's a side topic. So now, instead of writing this thing from scratch, let's take this title and copy and paste it. And let's take the body text and copy and paste it. Like, again, this would usually take me about half an hour. Oh, no. Is it not taking the links? Oh, no. Oh, that sucks. Okay, never mind. I'm deleting this whole episode. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, that's a bit of a pain. So if it's not holding the formatting. Paste doesn't work. Paste as plain text. Yeah, crap. So that kind of sucks because I'm going to have to go in and add all the hyperlinks. Oh, can I add it as... Hold on, let's try this. Yeah, it's not holding... Oh, that sucks. Okay, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. This is great. I just need you to make 2 quick changes. See, watch this. I don't know how to code, and maybe you don't either. This is how I'm going to get around this. Can you please change the part about my life as a family lawyer and make it say that I am currently a family lawyer, not in my past life? And second, can you please give me the output in code so I can, yeah, I'm just going to say in code because I don't know how the heck else to word that because I don't know how to code, right? So let's see. Okay, here we go. So I already know this is good because this is like the coding language for now does it have the hyperlinks? Let's see. Oh, it does have the hyperlinks. So watch this. I'm going to hit copy code, and now I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to hit code, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to remove the citations. I don't need that, right? I don't need the citations from Google. Remove that there. Remove that there. I think that's it. Okay. Done. Ah, crap. What the heck? Why is it not working? Any coders in here that can help? Hold on. Did any of it work? No. So why is this not working? For some reason, copy and pasting this into the code insert on LinkedIn did not work. The bolding, linking, or any other formatting did not carry over. Any idea why? Or a different version that would work? See, now you're getting a lesson in fixing all in one. To display programming code. When you paste text with mark. This time as plain text. You can copy this and then use LinkedIn's built-in editor to apply the bullet. Oh, okay. Paste it into LinkedIn. So it's saying copy the text above, paste it into LinkedIn. For bolding, okay, bolding's easy. Okay, so I guess I have to do this part manually, which kind of sucks. But maybe some of you folks will have feedback on how I can make this work with the LinkedIn code. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy and paste this. And then I'm going to paste it in here. Okay, this bold. But why did this bold carry over? This I usually like to have italicized. Okay, so I might have to jig this a little bit. Or I could just leave it like this, but then it's not as clean, right? I don't love, like, I'd much prefer the hyperlink like this. So if there's anyone out there, what I don't want to do on this show is try and fix this on air, because it would just take too long. But what I'll probably do after this is I'm just going to ask Gemini how to fix this problem, right? Because this is still way faster than if I had to do it manually from scratch. But if there's a way I can just copy paste and it'll hold the hyperlinks, then that's going to save me an extra 2 minutes, which doesn't sound like much, but you know, adds up over time. So, or I wonder, the other thing I could do is I could go back into the instructions. So for example, what I might do is go back into my newsletter gem, click edit. And then I'm going to write, for any output, please make sure it can easily be copy pasted into the LinkedIn code editor, right? So again, I typed that once into the instructions, and now it's going to do that from now on, right? So again, how can we make little adjustments based on what we're learning and based on the output, right? So I'm not going, this didn't work the first time exactly how I wanted it, so I quit. It's like, okay, well, let's ask AI to help find a solution and adjust our custom gem accordingly, right? Jessica says, maybe you need the output in HTML. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to delete this, but I do want to try that. So here's what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll try that after, Jessica, and thank you for the, so maybe my instructions in custom Gemini should be, please, for any output, please make sure it's provided in HTML code, right? And then I would kind of test that. But since I took the time to do it, I'm just going to roll with this, right? I'm just going to quite literally hit next, and I'm going to say, I just used AI to build a custom. You know what I should do is I should link this video, this recording in this. But I can't do that. I need to post it first, and then I need to post this video on YouTube. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post this newsletter exactly as you saw me build it with AI. Then I'm going to turn this live video into a YouTube video, and I'm going to edit the newsletter to include the link to the video as well. I just use AI. No. I just built a custom Gemini gem to draft this newsletter entirely with AI. I'd say it saved me, I'm going to say it took about 5 minutes to set up once and saved me about 30 minutes for this one newsletter alone. And I'll probably continue using it each week. To get my best content from the last 2 weeks, and also check out the video of how I did it, check out the newsletter below. Have an awesome weekend. So here, I'm just going to post it. And now, if you're watching live or if you're watching after the fact, I'm just going to post a link. Here, posting it on LinkedIn. If you want to check it out or you want to give it a like, please feel free. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, I'll put a link to this in the description so you can check it out, but it's live. And then what I'm going to do is, you might not see this right away if you're watching this right now, but right after I upload this onto YouTube, I'm going to include the YouTube video. I'll put it right at the top, right? So that you can, if you want to watch a recording or you missed a part or whatever. So anyways, hopefully, did you guys find this helpful? Like, was this interesting, kind of going from creating a custom gem from scratch with sample documents and instructions, showing you the output, touching it up a little bit, posting it. This is the one of many ways that I've been using AI to save a ton of time. And hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit more information or a little bit more confidence as well. So let me know what you think. If you liked it, didn't like it, if you want to see more content like this, then definitely let me know. And like I said, I'll upload that link. This recording will stay live on LinkedIn for a little bit. And I'm also going to include the YouTube video as well. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, I might do more videos like these, live AI tool building and stuff like that. So thanks again for tuning in. Like I said, all the links to these are either in the comments below on LinkedIn or in the comments below on YouTube, or in the description below on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, liked, commenting, all that kind of stuff. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.